G'day. Haven't been around for a while. We're in our 7th week of lockdown, and I think it's going to be a little bit longer than the scheduled 9 weeks. Supposed to finish in 2 weeks, but most unlikely. From my point of view, I can't stand it, but I tell you what, I reckon there are a lot more people out there that are a lot worse off than I am. I can't see that the current measures are going to drastically improve the situation. I've been saying for months now that the only way I see us getting through this is vaccination, and a high percentage of vaccination. Now, the governments are talking about vaccination. They should be offering incentives, and frankly, I think that that's more likely than not to happen. I can see in a couple of weeks' time the government easing restrictions for those that have been partially or fully vaccinated. I can see in a month's time you're not being able to go into, when restrictions have been lifted, you're not being able to go into a pub or a restaurant or a club or a cafe unless you are vaccinated. You won't be able to go to the football or some other event unless you are vaccinated. And I think that's absolutely, totally reasonable. The more people that get vaccinated, the more normality can return to our lives. So far as Marsdens is concerned, I'll come back to one other thing on that. It is possible that in some industries, if not all industries, that people won't be able to work unless they're vaccinated. Bear that in mind when you're making up your decision as to whether or not you should get vaccinated. So far as Marsdens is concerned, I'd like to say business as usual, but obviously it's not business as usual. However, there's still a lot going on. The courts are still going, and the courts are doing it electronically by Zoom, by Teams and other methods. Our interviews with clients and our contact with clients continues. The contact is not face-to-face, obviously, except in special circumstances. The contact is generally, again, electronically by Zoom, by Teams, or just simply over the telephone. If you've got an issue and it needs to be dealt with, obviously, we're there to help you and to help you deal with it. Another thing that occurs to me, you've got a bit of time, or we all have a bit of time on our hands now in lockdown, and it might be a time where you're considering what you should be doing with your estate planning. That is your wills, powers of attorney, enduring guardianships, things of that nature. If that's the case, think about what you want. If you're not too sure, give us a ring. Ask for Crystal Walters or David Hogan or Courtney, and they can give you some advice on it. And then you can work out what to do, and we can do whatever is necessary and, believe it or not, get it finalised and even signed electronically. Every other part of the business, property, family law and everything else is still going, albeit with a great deal of difficulty, but it's still going. We are down at the moment, but we've not laid off anybody, and we will be doing our best to make sure that we don't. Everybody has difficulty during this period. It's not just the employer. It is very difficult for all of our employees as well, and we recognise that. And we're going to support them for as long as we possibly can. That's about it for me at the moment. So I'll be back in touch in another couple of weeks, hopefully with the possibility of some restrictions being lifted.